live on TV, pumping myself up. I start hearing a crowd. Like, hi, my name is Panita Bajaj, and I was once a K-pop star. But not really, kinda. Oh my gosh, that was 10 years ago. People started recognizing me from the show and they wanted to take photos with me, and I thought, oh, it has begun. So I came to Korea back in 2011. So this August will be exactly 10 years. August 8th, 2011. I still remember the date. So I auditioned on a show called The Great Birth Star Audition. It's called 위대한 탄생, and it was season 2. And season 1, I think, was a huge success. I remember watching it. But this time around, they did a global audition. So I was lucky enough for them to come over to my neck of the woods. And at the time, I was in Los Angeles. And I was fortunate enough to get selected, and they sent me over a ticket to go to Korea. And I had like short hair, and people did not believe that I was 18 years old. And that was the first time I was like, oh, do I look old? I didn't have that type of awareness of age. I still remember going to the audition place. A lot of people ask me, why did you go for 위대한 탄생, which wasn't as popular as other shows at the time? That was just kind of a lucky time because they were holding global auditions. But I did the show, and again was lucky enough to get to the top final stage where we do our live shows and things like that. And it was like a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I wouldn't change it for anything. Yes, it was super stressful. It was a lot of mind control, mind games, you know, a lot of discipline, but also a lot of fun. And lucky for us, I think the contestants, all of our final contestants, we were really close to each other, and so we didn't feel that like neck-to-neck competition. It wasn't really cutthroat for us, which like the staff and the producers and the writers would come to us and be like, you know, this is a competition, you shouldn't be so close and be friends. And we were like, yeah, but I think, you know, social relationships are a bit more important as well, which I do regret a little, that I wasn't more business-minded and trying to, you know, get ahead and stuff like that. But again, I wouldn't change it for anything. That experience was amazing. The most memorable performance, I think there's two. There's one where it was an event down in Mokpo, and was it Mokpo? I'm not sure where the place was, but it was just a beautiful area, and I didn't have a car at the time, and I didn't have a company or a label to, you know, manage me and my schedule. And so a fan actually, you know, volunteered to drive me over down south a few hours, huge road trip. And we did the show. Was it that, or am I confusing myself? Anyways, there was that's a true story, but maybe it was another concert where it was in front of like thousands of people, and I've never performed in front of a large group of audience like that before. It was really special. Another one would be my very first time singing in a live stage. So it was live on TV. It was in front of, you know, a large audience, and this was the first televised live performance that I was doing for the show. And before, you know, you go up on stage, another person is finishing up, and as soon as they do, they show like your intro video, your reel, and it's just kind of like an intro to who's coming up next. And I was on deck, and I'm like pumping myself up, and I start hearing a crowd going Purita, Purita, and I was so like, what? Like, people are calling my name, they know who I am, they've watched the show, and they've come all the way to the studio to see me perform. You know, it was just a like unbelievable, surreal time where I had fans. It was so odd, it was so bizarre, and I was so thankful. And I remember on stage, I could see my little section, you know, they had like a banner and everything. It was so amazing. That's definitely like a top moment of my life, seeing those people come out and cheer me on. Huge support. One of the most frequent questions I get is, why didn't I join a label? And so this is where the conversation kind of goes in a different direction. As much as I loved the experience and the life of being a singer, there's a different side to the hustle where you really have to sell yourself, you know, not just your body, but your head, your mind, your heart, and everything for another person or another group of people. And you think, yeah, that's something that I can do. I can sell myself for, you know, a contract of 5, 6, 7 years was kind of the normal back then. 7-year contract after your debut. So you can be stuck as a trainee for however many years and your contract doesn't even begin. The people that I dealt with, even during the show, you know, working with people in the music industry, they were great people, but there were also a lot of, you know, really like scammery type of people, is that a word? Kind of people that you really can't trust, really want to take advantage of you. And when I was young, I thought, yeah, take advantage of me. I want to be famous. I want to, you know, become a successful singer. But you don't really know what that means. And we weren't making any money. You know, we don't make any money from the things that we do. You know, lots of people talk about like the glamorous life of, you know, you get to learn a different language. They you know, take you to acting lessons, singing lessons, and all that stuff when you become a trainee. That's all debt. And you have to pay that off later on. And so when you say yes to those things, when you sign your name, you're really signing your life away. You're signing a lot of money away. You're in debt as soon as you sign. And so that was a reason why I didn't want to sign to a label. And it was just such a huge risk that I wasn't gonna take at 18 years old. What have I been doing since? I've been doing the most random shows, the most random gigs, so many different things. The majority of my jobs now got a lot to do with my voice, so either I'm an MC, a host of a show, a radio show, a lot of interview shows I do, a lot of modeling gigs I do. So it's just kind of anything that comes my way related to media and entertainment. There are times, of course, where I do wish it would have gone differently, been a little bit more bolder in my decisions, but I don't regret a lot of things. I don't regret a lot of things. Some things I do regret, but not a lot of things. Another question I get often, especially here in Korea, is why Korea? Why Korea? Why not Korea? Korea is a great country to start fresh. It's a great country to start something. It's really a land of opportunities. I really do think so, even now. And so people who don't know what to do with their life, a lot of them do come to Korea and, you know, start up a new life. And whether that comes from, you know, going into entertainment or anything like that, I think this is a place where you can grow. It's just a great place to live. If I could give any advice to people who are wanting to come to Korea or wanting to start anything in entertainment, I think I was watching an interview with Joe Rogan and Matthew McConaughey, and he said something that was so insightful. He said, Hollywood is such a great place, so fun, but it's not a place to find yourself. And I think that's so important because these, you know, aspiring artists are so young, and so when they come to this new country or a new industry, you're so vulnerable, you're so influenceable, you're so impactable. And so I think knowing who you are, knowing what your values are, all of that kind of inner confidence needs to be firm before you go into a place where people are telling you so many different stories. And still being moldable. I'm not saying you should be stubborn and say no to everybody who says, gives you advice. Being humble enough to accept people's criticism, but also being strong enough to know where you lie the boundaries, I think is super important for anybody, really. Even me, that's something I wish I had done. It's one thing I do regret. Yeah, that and learn the language, love the people. That's really important as well. You gotta love Korea to succeed in Korea. That's a key ingredient. In any case, hope that helped. Hope you guys enjoyed my talk. This is how this Indian became a K-pop star 10 years ago.